Well, hello there, and welcome in to another episode of DCU Daily. And of course, the news. We're going to get into the news right off the top. My name, of course, is Daniel. There's lots to talk about from the world of DC, as well as a little bit from the world of Marvel, because, of course, our favorite Winter Soldier, he seems to love his DC, including a movie that they're working on right now. So we'll get into those comments from Sebastian Stan. We're going to talk about Benedict Cumberbatch recently said he wasn't going to be in Avengers Doomsday. Well, he recently said something to kind of clarify what he said earlier. Perhaps he was ill-informed in those past comments. And then, of course, we do have to get into the quick hits of the day. There's a new Blue Falcon movie that's coming from Eddie Murphy. That will be interesting. I want to talk about that for sure. But to do that and so much more, as always, we got to, start things off with the news. So let me hit that sweet news intro and go get going.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the needs now?
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Hello, it's time for the news. I, of course, am Daniel, as I said before, but maybe you weren't watching earlier, so now you know my name, and you also know my game, which is to talk about the news. Welcoming on in with me, next to me, we got Liz and John. It's that kind of a day. How are you doing today, Liz?
I'm doing well, thank you. I've changed up the lighting in here. Hopefully you guys can see me okay, but I was getting really sick and tired of that overhead, so this is what you get from now on.
Nice. It's definitely like, it's the news after dark kind of a vibe. I should turn the lights off in this room. Anyway.
There we go. Perfect.
There you go, John in the dark.
John.
So nobody has to see my ugly mug anyway.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Nay.
Nay. Anyway, but how's it going, guys? We're doing great. I'm doing great. I hope you, especially you, right? No, not you. You get out of it. No, you get out of here. No, you. I hope you're doing okay today. I hope you're doing great. I hope you guys are having a good, good day today. Hope it's great.
I feel like this music could just be the show tonight. Like it's just that kind of a vibe.
I mean,
Liz, you've got a bulge reference in your shot. Yep. Long live the bulge. Forever bulge. Forever bulge, indeed.
I did unfortunately have to take my bat signal down because I kept knocking into it, so I had to put it off somewhere.
What, you don't want Batman to show up while you're sleeping?
Yeah, that might be a little scary. Because Batman could look like a sleep paralysis demon. I'm like, no, I'm good.
We have already got people in the chat. Yeah, forever bulge indeed, Fiona. We have Fiona in the chat, of course. Manos Time is here. He's saying, hello, I missed this and missed you guys. Well, we missed you too, Manos. We have also got Caleb in the chat. That's Caleb with the C. I don't know where Caleb with the K is, but wherever you are, Caleb, if you get to see this after the fact, hello. But Caleb Richardson is here saying John is pulling a Riddler. Manos Time also commenting, John wanted to apologize. The Spider-Man series is fire so far.
There you go.
And we will get into that a little bit. We're not going to give away all our secrets just yet. But
I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. I apologize. I've had a busy day today. I'm trying to get a video out, so I've been editing like nonstop today.
Yeah. Fiona's filling in for Caleb with the K. She's like honka honka. Well, honka honka to you, Fiona. Honka. And you know what, John? You shouldn't be so self-deprecating because we do want to see you. It's not like we want you in
That's
the dark.
okay. I appreciate that. Well, it's just like, years of bullying will make me into the man I am today, but I'm glad that, people love me now for my face and my beautiful personality and all that stuff. So that's nice to see. Came fucking 27 years too late, but you know what? I'll take it. So I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you making me feel a lot better. You guys are
I
great.
like this music. This is actually it's calming. You know, it's the vibe. I like it. I could.
I love Hugo Millie's comment. Love the Spider-Man show. Very good characterization. Very woke. I'm loving how fucking woke it is. It's woke as fuck. It's simply from the comments made before. It's fucking woke. I love how woke it is. Fucking woke as shit.
Yep, exactly. Look, no, hey, if you love the show, you love the show, and we appreciate you regardless. You know, for everybody,
Hell, if
the
you
show
don't like
might
the show,
be
that's
good,
okay,
it might be bad, it hits everyone differently. But hey, we are gonna review the first 2 episodes in detail on Friday, but we do have to talk about the show today because it came out last night, and Hugo Millie, of course, has seen it. John, I don't know if have you seen it yet? Did you get through both episodes?
Me? No, I just said I didn't.
No, never mind. I wasn't listening to you.
I wasn't listening to you either, so you know.
You know what? Touche, my friend. Or my frenemy. I don't know. Love the Spider. Oh yeah, you already read that comment. Good job, Hugo. Very woke. Yes. And then Manos Time. Did John finally read Woman of Tomorrow? Yes, you know what? You did say you would read it over the weekend.
I did say that, and then I forgot.
Too bad Lenny's not here because she would hold you to account over that.
Yeah, I know.
But you're lucky.
I'm busy.
But, hey,
all right, I have
I
personal
get it.
shit to get through.
I get it, but you know what? Fiona's offering
I don't have
some
all
words
the
of
time in
support,
the world to read
so.
mediocre ass Tom King comics. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Well, you should put some effort in because Lenny's gonna be coming in later in the show tonight, and she's gonna want to know if you read Woman of Tomorrow, and then you will have to answer to Lenny. So with that in mind, let's answer to the world of Hollywood and the news coming out from Hollywood today. I wanted to start things off by looking ahead to this weekend's box office. Usually we do a review of the weekend box office, so I figured we switch it up. I saw this article, they're talking about it in Variety, that Dogman is looking to start off with a $30 million opening weekend, which sounds pretty good for an animated movie that comes out after it's a sequel to a movie that didn't particularly make a ton of money. So I think 30 million is a good number. Companion, a sci-fi thriller, the one with Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher, that's only targeting a $10 million opening. Do these numbers surprise you? Is this something that are you more interested now to see both films? I know that we are probably going to end up seeing both films between the three of us, but Liz, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on these weekend projections?
Yeah, I mean, kids' movies are few and far between, so they always do really, really well at the box office. It's like, oh my God, let's get these kids out of the house for a couple hours, So any family-friendly film that comes to theaters is going to do well regardless. Companion, I'm not that surprised. They really only started advertising this film like a month and a half ago, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
And it's hard.
But again, I've already got my tickets, so I'll be seeing it on Friday. I'm still on the fence. If I have time to see Dogman, I'll check it out, but it might not be until the following week. So no, these numbers really don't shock me too much.
Yeah, I mean, look, the first movie, I guess you could. I feel like this is all the same franchise, right? Because Captain Underpants was the movie that would be the prequel to this, or maybe this is a spin-off to that movie. So Captain Underpants came out and a few years ago, and it debuted to like 24 million, 23.8 million.
A decade ago, actually.
Did it? Has it been that long?
Not that long. I think it was pre-COVID.
Almost a decade. It came out in 2017. It was 8 years ago.
Jeez.
Damn. That's
really?
Fucking crazy.
It was before the pandemic. You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. It's on Netflix if you guys want to check it out.
It is, yeah.
I will check it out actually, so that I can be ready.
It's surprise. Like I didn't expect it. I mean, as I said before, I'm a big Captain Underpants fan, but I was like, I don't know how good the movie will be. I see, like, as a fan, I'm like, okay, so they adapted this part of this book, this part of this book, this part of this book, and they they made it work. Like, I think they did a little bit too much. It's not perfect, but I think they did. I think they did a lot of good things by because usually when you combine books, it's a disaster, series of unfortunate events, and Cirque du Freak, I'm looking at you. So and Spiderweb Chronicles, that's another one. Don't combine books, guys. That's just recipe for disaster. But the fact that they took elements from various books but like did their own, for the most part, original thing, that's what like made it work for me.
By the way, guys, if you are tuning in, if you're new to the channel, what we usually do is we will start off with the news from Hollywood. We'll go through that. We'll do like quick hits where we kind of like go through like, oh, there's a new movie coming out. Somebody just got cast in a movie and a TV show, blah blah blah. And then we get into DCU Daily. So like we will have a thorough conversation about both the Superman news, about the Puppy Bowl, as well as the Peacemaker news, and as well as what Sebastian Stan said about Supergirl. But first we want to get some of these news items out of the way. I just wanted to say though, I mean, considering that Captain Underpants 8 years ago kicked off to 24 million at the box office before the pandemic, a 30 million start for Dogman is going to be pretty good. And 10 million for Companion, it's a smaller budget movie. I think for a movie of that scale and that genre, it's a good start. Let's see where it goes. It's and it's the middle of January, right? Like, so it's the last week of January actually. So the movies going audiences are not quite all the way back yet. But hey, February we'll get Captain America 4, and then hopefully things will pick up. Speaking of which, we will get into that later. But before we talk about Captain America 4, I wanted to bring this up because I've been seeing news headlines about this for a long time. Like, Priyanka Chopra Jonas boarded this movie because it was just making headlines and waves in the festival circuit. And so Anuja, it's a short film, by the way. It's not a feature film, but it's now got a release date and a trailer. So this movie has been in the festival circuit for a while. It's gotten all kinds of positive buzz around it. The Anuja, the word, it's literally translates from Sanskrit, the original language that the word's from. It translates to little sister. And so this movie, I think Priyanka Chopra Jonas boarded it as an executive producer, among like many other like high profile names. And now it had, not only did it win the best live action short at the 2024 Holly Shorts Film Festival. I've actually submitted to that in the past. It's one of the more prestigious short film festivals, the Holly Shorts. It's also got an Oscar nomination in the shorts category, and now it's gonna be, I believe, coming to Netflix, which is gonna debut it on Wednesday, February 5th. It's not often that you see a short film get this kind of attention and the kind of big names that are attached to it now. And obviously he's been doing well in the festival circuit, like I said. Lizz, have you heard about this? Did you come across this for the first time when I sent you the link today?
Yeah.
But does it interest you, like, now that you're seeing the kind of success that it's been having?
No, it absolutely does. And I will say, the one nice thing about having all of these various streaming services is once projects are nominated for things, they kind of tend to pick up a little more buzz, they get some more attention, and they can kind of vie for attention from various platforms, which is great. So there's always the possibility that they will come to streaming prior to the Oscar, the Academy Awards. And so I love that. So I do get a chance to see all of these films that I might not have been able to see otherwise. So that's great. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. I do try to see everything that gets nominated at the Academy Awards ahead of time, but sometimes the services just don't make it possible for people to check everything out. So that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, all this attention can only be a positive thing for the
positive
film,
thing.
So that's great.
I mean, but short films are an entryway for a lot of filmmakers to kind of like break into the business, right? You cut your teeth on short films, and then you hopefully would move on to doing features beyond it. I mean, famously, Neil Blomkamp, like his short film from, I think it was his college thesis film, is what got him discovered by who am I forgetting his name? Peter
Jackson.
Peter Jackson, who then kind of helped him get turned that short film into District 9. I mean, and that's not even the only example of that happening. What was the one with the Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, the short film that ended up becoming a feature?
Oh,
that
Whiplash.
Actually won Whiplash, that then won Best Picture at the Oscars. That was a short film that became a big feat. So I'm like, look, for all we know, it could have a similar pathway. It's just it's great to see another short film like this, especially I think India is, like, again, one of the population centers of the world, but also one of the cultural centers of the world. And for them to be getting greater representation at the Oscars, at Holly Shorts, and just in general. And when you got Priyanka Chopra Jonas attached as one of your executive producers, that will automatically raise the profile of your project. John, what did you think about this news? Is this something that now interests you, considering it's coming to Netflix in literally a week's time?
Are you talking to me? I have been so disassociating because of how much I don't care about this.
Okay, that's our answer.
Fair enough.
I'm sure it's like a cool cultural thing for a lot of people. I just don't really care.
All right. Awesome.
Hey,
cool.
I'd rather be. Wait, would you rather be try to like lie out of it? Be like,
no, I'm okay with that, dude. It's completely fair. But I mean, like Jose made a good point to it. You know, like Taika Waititi started off
Mike
doing
Flanagan
short films.
Started making short films way back when. You know?
Yeah. It's common. I mean, a lot of filmmakers, that's their pathway to doing features. Now, of course, we do want to talk about features. And speaking of feature films, Riffraff is set to come out on February 28th. So now it's literally a month away. And it's going to be starring, you know, of course, an all-star cast, Gabrielle Union, Bill Murray. I should have said Bill Murray and then Gabrielle Union, because clearly Bill Murray is the bigger star. And then Pete Davidson and, of course, Jennifer Coolidge. Between those names and the concept... The trailer looks great. What did you think about this, Liz?
I think the trailer looks great. I am a little concerned though, because it's dry humor. It's a dry film. The pacing is going to be rather slow. So I'm worried that they've given all of the funny lines away in the trailer, and we're just going to kind of spend the 2 hours like waiting for each of those funny lines to come up. So we'll see what happens, but that tends to be a thing with these drier comedies. So I'm hopeful it to me, it looks laugh out loud funny, but again, the pacing doesn't look like it's going to be in line with that. So we'll see what happens. But it's an all-star cast for sure. Ed Harris is a part of it as well, so it's going to be pretty good. I'm hopeful.
I want to be hopeful, but like I hate Pete Davidson so much, and having to look at his face for 2 hours gives me the ick, as the ladies would say. So
did you watch the trailer though, John?
I didn't watch the trailer
because there's a really funny line with Pete in that one. So I would recommend you give it a watch.
Maybe later, but like
give it a watch.
I love Bill Murray. I know he's like a piece of shit now, and everybody hates him because he did some stuff 20 years ago. But like, I know Jennifer Coolidge is a queen, so that's great. But I don't know who. I know the name Gabrielle Union. I don't know if
she's also a queen.
She's great. She's done a couple of movies.
I know. The name sounds vaguely familiar.
Bring It On. She's Dwayne Wade's wife, for example.
Yes. She's done a number of movies. I mean, she's done a few action thrillers recently, right? Where she's like the angry mom who, of course, Jennifer.
That trope.
That trope. What's the name? Jennifer something. Ben Affleck's.
Garner.
Jennifer Garner did like 3 of those as well.
Yeah, Peppermint.
Peppermint, yes. There's like it's basically John Wick.
It's such an easy thing. You killed my son. I have to kill you now.
Yeah,
like it works.
Yeah, but anyway, like Gabrielle Union, I think has really improved as an actress over the years, and I'd love to see what we see in this film from her, as well as of course everybody else.
I don't think.
Like you said though, Liz, it's dry humor, so maybe it's more for like a British audience than it is for an American audience. We shall see.
Possibly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has. Like we were talking about on the aside, it's kind of along the lines of Anora, where Anora is touted as a comedy, but in reality, as a film as a whole, it's not at all. So, like I said, that's my concern, is that they're leaning on all of the funny parts of the film to get audiences into theaters, but then turns out it's really not a comedy at all. But we'll see what happens.
I love Jose's comment. Pete Davidson getting his face blown up in the Suicide Squad was peak cinema. I definitely agree. I'm like the best part of the movie. Hell yeah. And figure drawing.
Let's not forget bodies
around town. LOL. Other than that, I agree with John. Insufferable face and comedy. Yeah, he's the only thing he has is like a big dick and like big lips, and that's kind of it. So I don't know how. I just don't get it.
Sometimes that's just what you're looking for. I don't know. Maybe
he has such a punchable face, like an insanely punchable face. Like, bro's like a chode with lips. Like, I just like I can't. Like, I just. It hurts to look at his face.
Dude, it's got Ed Harris in it. Why does it not name him?
I just said that like 6 times. I just said that like 6 times.
I'm having a weird day. I'm just not listening to you guys.
How are you going to send links and then not look at the links?
I knew Ed Harris was in it. He just wasn't listed here.
I just
I totally missed it. I literally glazed over this the first time I watched the trailer. That's why.
Now you guys know what I deal with every day.
Here's the thing, though. I listened to you. I knew Ed Harris was in it. I wasn't. So I was like, oh yeah, Ed Harris. Boom, there he is. And but it's just like I don't know. Like at least with Dogman, I don't have to look at Pete Davidson's face, and he's a bad guy. Like that's the hopes is like he dies or gets thrown.
No,
in prison.
he's a bad guy in this too. I implore you guys, please watch things.
No, I mean like, oh hey,
he's a bad guy in this too.
Lewis Pullman, I like him.
Yeah, I do like him. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. Star-studded cast, and I like the way the graphics and everything. The comedy, it's a family affair. I'm interested in this.
But the main thing with Dogman, I don't have to look at him. I would have to look at him here, and I don't want to look at his face. I don't like looking at his face, so that's the big thing. But anyway, just want to clarify that. It's not because he's a bad guy.
Going off in the chat, she's like, "Open your ears, y'all." I mean, I'm sorry. Like we,
what?
Sometimes There you go.
My
Enterprising saying, "I didn't like how Mongol died. How Mongol died. Her brother and father is as strong, if not stronger, than Superman." Wait, what are we talking about? Mongol was in what? Like the Suicide Squad?
Mongal.
Different
character.
Mongal.
I don't know what's
Okay,
going on.
never mind.
Anyway.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
either.
Ed Harris.
Anyway, let's keep on going with the news, shall we? So the next thing, speaking of Captain America, as I was earlier, remember how yesterday we talked about that Anthony Mackie had to clarify his comments that he's a proud American, but he just doesn't think Captain America represents America. It's more about the ideals that the character represents, what the American dream, I guess, for example. Speaking of which, Chris Evans just kind of chimed in because, of course, you can imagine the Q&As naturally work their way to the OG Captain America, Steve Rogers, and so this is what he said. I'm going to read this out.
Technically,
dude, I'm talking MCU. Okay, we're just talking MCU. I'll qualify that statement so that way I can get to the quote. So this is what Chris Evans said about the whole controversy, and I think largely he agrees with Anthony Mackie's take. And I agree with him too, actually. So he said, well, to me, I'm not trying to get too lost in the American side of it. This isn't a flag-waving movie. It is red, white, and blue, but it just so happens that the character was created in America during wartime, when there was a common enemy. Even though it is Captain America, I've said before in interviews, it feels more like he should be just called Captain Good. And you know what? The image that they put here in the post, I think is perfect. It's like Captain America has, he's always represented the ideal of, what we strive toward, in America, that is. And that sometimes means a lot of times it means he comes up against the U.S. government. Like the entire trilogy of Captain America movies we have seen, exactly. Like from the
Liz
first
literally
Avenger,
said the latter two movies are about him betraying America.
Exactly.
Like that was the whole thing.
Yep. And like it says in here, I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the dream. And that I think ultimately is really what we're trying to get at here, of what Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie are trying to get at, because they want to make sure and Marvel wants these movies to appeal to a global audience, even though the title is Captain America: Brave New World. But at the same time, the character itself represents more than it doesn't represent America like as it is today, or just America as a country. It's more about the ideals of what America should be, right? I think that's what it comes down to, and that's pretty much what Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie, for that matter, have said. I mean, Liz, were you surprised by what Chris Evans said here, or is this pretty much in line with what you expected?
I mean, no. I mean, obviously, he was asked the question. He's not just going to come out and make a statement. That's just not really been his style. He tries to stay low key with things like this. But at the same time, I am so sick and tired of non-news being news. Like the fact that we're spending days talking about like just one-off statement is so annoying, but that's the way the world is. And I really could give a shit beyond like, oh, Anthony Mackie made a gaffe. That's not what he meant. And he corrected himself. Okay, great. But for some reason, everyone has to lose their ish over it. So here we are. Like, just calm down, people. Or as I like to say, get a life.
Well, look, I think it's significant in the sense that obviously, it riled up a lot of folks, but probably for the wrong reasons. But because, again, when you're talking about the core of the character, it doesn't have to do with, a country. It has to do with the ideals of what America, represents, or what we strive toward, more accurately. I mean, it's similar to the whole, It's Superman. It's what did they say about Superman? It's true justice, and it used to be the American way. Now it's a better tomorrow. But similar ideals. Like Superman isn't just an American icon. He's an icon for truth and justice and hope and freedom, and those values are not just purely American. Like America doesn't have a monopoly over those set values. So I think that's what they're really trying to get at. And then Man of Time kind of adding, rightfully so, and pretty accurately too, saying Kevin Feige based his Captain America on Superman, which is a hero for the people, not just the US. That's why DC replaced the American way with a better tomorrow. That is actually very well said by Man of Time. So, by the way, we have a new person in the chat as well. Hello, Change the World. And yeah, you're asking, what did Anthony Mackie say that was so bad? We talked about it on yesterday's show, but I mean, John, would you like to kind of?
I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up for them.
Okay.
There you go.
But basically, Anthony Mackie was in Rome promoting Captain America: Brave New World. He was asked a question about, hey, what do you think Captain America represents? And he said something akin to, I don't think it so much represents the term America. It's more just about the ideals of, freedom, hope, and, a better tomorrow, fighting for justice. And to that, people were up in arms. Like some people, not everybody, were up in arms. We're like, what do you mean Captain America doesn't represent America? Are you not proud to be American? And again, getting the wrong idea. And that's not what Anthony Mackie said at all. And then he clarified saying, look, I'm a proud American and I respect everybody who has served and does continue to serve, the country, I guess, in the military. But at the same time, he believes that, Captain America represents more than just, it's not like it represents the country America. It represents the ideal of what America, aspires to be, or what was the idea of America, like the American dream, as it were. So that's, I think that's really what
quote in the chat. It got cut off. The last word got cut off, but you get the idea.
Exactly. Honor, dignity, and integrity. That's what it's about. And Hosea saying again, it's just good to see, like Hosea said, glad to see Chris Evans has Anthony Mackie's back. All those clickbait channels will still find a way to twist it now, but yes. Look, Chris Evans is the one who first told or showed the Endgame script to Anthony Mackie, which is how Anthony Mackie found out that he was gonna get the shield and be Captain America.
I'm a black guy, I'm gonna die, and then he's like, "No, you're fucking Captain America, you idiot."
Yeah. So I mean, Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie are of course great friends, and both of them have spent a lot of time on set together across half a dozen different Marvel movies. So I'm glad that this has been put to rest, and not only by Anthony Mackie, but also for those people who are like, oh, who is Anthony Mackie to say who Captain America represents? We want to hear from Chris Evans, because he played the OG version of the character. Well, there you go, Chris Evans saying pretty much the exact same thing. With that in mind, I think we have to now move on from the news into a quicker version of the news that we like to call quick hits. So John, would you do us the honor and hit that Bossa Nova elevator music so we can dive into the quick hits? A little bit of a delay, but the drama is real. All right, let's get into the quick hits, shall we? I'm cutting off this beautiful man's head. All right, here we go. Eddie Murphy is set to star as a former spy in Blue Falcon, as Sony has acquired Chad St. John's script for the movie. Thoughts?
Eddie Murphy does one good movie every 10 years, so maybe that's this movie, maybe it isn't, I don't know, but good luck. I mean, he just did Axel F, which was fantastic, so that might be, so he might have a couple of years before he does actually a really good movie again, so we'll see. But it's a kind of a shame, because I think Eddie Murphy's great, but the man has either a terrible agent, doesn't give a fuck, or both. I
think both. Yeah.
Look, when I first read this headline, I know this has nothing to do with Key and Peele, but I just remembered the Key and Peele Power Falcon sketch, because at one point he's like, Black Falcon, no, Blue Falcon, Blue Falcon. And it just reminded me of that. It has nothing to do with this, but I'm excited for another Eddie. Look, Eddie Murphy left Hollywood for a while. He's back, and I'm just here for it, because even when the movies are bad, I enjoy his performances. He's one of the most charismatic actors in the world today, and has been for a long time. And look, while this movie may not be the best thing ever, he's still back in the Shrek universe. We're gonna get a Donkey movie, apparently, right? A spin-off or a TV show. Donkey, and then he's gonna be in the Shrek 5, I'm sure. Probably we'll have like 5 more dragon babies by now, but like we'll see. I can't get enough of Eddie Murphy, and 30 years after the first Beverly Hills Cop movie.
I'm looking up the lifespan of
Blue
a donkey.
Falcon? Really?
All right, moving on. So moving on from Blue Falcon.
Okay.
Oh my God, all these
Donkeys
overlays.
can live up to 50 years, so you know what? Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Who else can live up to 50 years? Actually, no, that's a bad transition. I had such good segues yesterday. Well, anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal is set to star in a new original film from M. Night Shyamalan and Nicholas Sparks. Thoughts?
Ding dong.
I mean, I love me some Jake Gyllenhaal, regardless of how he treated Taylor Swift. So,
I mean,
yeah,
I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I like M. Night. I hate Nicholas Sparks, so we'll see. But
I don't hate Nick. He's just not my cup of tea.
I was one of the few people that liked Trap. I thought that was a fun, good movie.
Yeah, I
thought
enjoyed it.
Josh Hartnett was great. So I hope we get another good movie from him.
I want folks to actually read this article though.
Yeah.
As I said in the side thread, it's the most M. Night Shyamalan thing ever. So according to this article, and again, you guys have to you got to get your brain right to understand what's happening here. Apparently, Nicholas and M. Night have gotten together and created a supernatural romance film. Or story. But M. Night is going to write the screenplay and make it a movie, whereas Nicholas is going to write a novel. So they're both doing the same story, but in their version. And again, that's the most M. Night thing you could possibly do, quite frankly. But it takes you 5 reads of this article to actually understand what the end result is going to be. So we're getting 2 versions of a co-created story told their way. So read one and then watch the other and compare. It's really wild to me.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of, although not nearly as good and not nearly the talent, but it kind of reminds me of how Douglas Adams wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but at the same time did an audio drama of it. So they were adapted from each other because they were made at the same time, so they have different stuff. So technically it's one thing is canon, but then some of the things in the other thing is canon, and it's Douglas Adams, so there's that.
But they co-wrote the story together.
I know, but
they came up with this together.
The Hitchhiker's Guide
which
thing
is also
way more
how did that happen? How did their worlds collide in the first place?
I have no clue.
That they were hey,
idea.
let's write something. It's this the whole thing is just so wild. I love it, but I want a screenplay about them getting together and coming up with this.
You know what this is? This is M. Night getting creative with how is he gonna get money to make his next movie? Because at this point he has had so many bad flops. He just needs somebody to pay him to make a movie. So and maybe this is how he managed to sneak this one in. But anyway, Kick-Ass was a good example, by the way. So let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? These quick hits need to be quicker. Christopher Nolan, if you guys didn't know, he's got this new movie called The Odyssey coming out next year, but it's starting to film next month. I mean, actually in a couple of days time, supposedly. Actually not in a couple of days, but next month as in late February. So I wanted to kind of quickly take a pause and look at the cast of this movie. Literally no name in this movie is one that you do not know. You can recognize all of them, and half of them are at least A-listers. It's great. Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron, Lupita Nyong'o, Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Zendaya, John Bernthal, Benny Safdie. I feel like when the trailer's gonna come out, you're gonna get boof, 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 across the screen, and with the exact same sound effects that I just gave you. And then it's gonna be, from the Oscar-winning, for the first time ever, for the Oscar-winning filmmaker, Christopher Nolan.
Let's not forget
Sir Christopher Nolan.
Put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on the man's name. I mean, it's just crazy to me that, this guy's only just got his due. But the cast is tremendous, right? It blows my mind. What do you guys think? Could there be any more stars you can add to this? Can we add George Clooney and Brad Pitt into it? Can we?
What about Christian Bale? Let's just throw him in there.
Yeah, maybe Michael Caine will come out of retirement for it again.
Yeah, he's already got Anne Hathaway.
Guy Pearce. Get Guy Pearce in there. Just get every like Christopher Nolan alumni and just
Cillian Murphy. Yeah,
get Cillian Murphy in there. Fuck it. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm curious. Is this the Odyssey that we know? Is this an?
It's the Homer's. Yeah, Homer's the Odyssey.
Homer's the Odyssey. Yeah.
We talked about it the other day. He's apparently going to be going to film. He's going to be filming a part of the movie on Goat Island. It's a real island, Goat Island in Sicily, which is the real location where in Homer's the Odyssey, like that's where they land. So it's like, again, like if he could, he would blow up a real nuclear bomb to like film it for Oppenheimer. Too bad, there's a lot more restrictions around that, but he's like, we could film it on Goat Island, which is, he should probably live on Goat Island in my opinion. But anyway,
because he is the goat.
He is the goat.
Directing on the goat.
And you know what? As far as the fantastical elements of the movie, I'm sure he's gonna do it in the most, physically accurate, way
and 70
possible.
millimeters, son.
70 millimeter IMAX, or potentially even something different. Apparently, there's new IMAX technology they're trying out on this movie, so. We shall see. Sir Christopher Nolan looking for that next Oscar.
Nolan loves an IMAX, that's for sure.
He loves IMAX. I mean, IMAX wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for Christopher Nolan, or Sir Christopher Nolan. And yeah, I mean, Enterprising, you and I both are excited for the Odyssey, as is Ron. And you know what? Yes, they did lose a gem over at Warner Brothers, and that's why they backed up a Brinks truck of money to his house, but he still decided to stick with, Universal for his next movie. So better luck next time, WB. You tried.
But not hard enough.
The right dude is like, my first introduction to the Odyssey was The Simpsons. Anyway, you know what? We've got another Paddington movie coming out. Paddington in Peru. The tickets are on sale now. You can go get yourself the tickets. And a new exclusive clip just dropped, and it looks wonderful. It looks wonderful.
I need to watch
Could this be the greatest movie trilogy of all time, John?
They're wonderful.
I know. I read Paddington as a kid.
Paddington's my favorite.
I think he might still be on my shelf. I would have to look for him though. But the it's funny. I had like a little doll that was of Paddington, but they messed it up. He had a blue hat and a red raincoat instead of. Yeah,
there's a couple different versions. There's also versions where he has a yellow hat and a blue coat. Like there's different.
Yeah,
versions.
I remember watching like. There was like a TV show, I think like a animated TV show. I remember reading some of the books. I remember and I was gonna watch both of those movies, but then I don't know. I just again never really got around to it.
They are
for whatever
delightful.
Reason. I know.
Delightful.
I know it's Pedro Pascal in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Paddington 2, greatest movie ever.
Greatest movie ever. Yep. Oh, Caleb is in the chat. Hello, Caleb with the K. Honka honka indeed. His favorite Odyssey is Oh Brother Art Pal.
Oh Brother Where Art, that was a lot of people's favorites. Normies. Anyway.
All right, let's keep the ball rolling here. So, in other horror news, not that Paddington is a horror movie, but Terrifier 4 is now officially in the works. Are you guys excited for Terrifier 4?
Anyway, moving on.
It's gonna have an utterly satisfying conclusion, according to the filmmaker.
Great. And apparently,
in other news,
focus on Art's backstory, which is always great for a horror villain. Loser.
Are you excited for Jake Paul to fight his brother Logan Paul in what is a shocking twist boxing match? Brother versus brother. It's like the Hardys all over again. I'm just kidding. It's not that.
Fuck that.
It's gonna be just as boring as the Paul Tyson fight because
and
they're
it's
not
gonna have
really
less
gonna
Mike
hit
Tyson
each other.
ass. So who
cares? Stop giving these people money. Stop giving them a platform to do stupid things. They're the worst. They're the worst part of America. Stop it. Stop it. And their drinks are trash. Stop buying their shit. Stop it.
Yeah. In a word as Enterprising said, silly. And on that note, we're gonna move on to some less silly news. Olivia Cooke and Aiden Ehrenreich have joined Helen Mirren in Anton Corbin's Patricia Highsmith thriller Switzerland. Excited?
I know like half of those names. Sounds cool. Might
shot
watch
in
it.
Rome. Switzerland
shot in Rome. I mean, I think this could be a great movie. You know, the talent is there. Olivia Cooke, Aiden Ehrenreich. You got Han Solo and the person from Game of Thrones House of the Dragon.
Well, we have
I'm excited.
Not great Han Solo, but you know.
He did his best. He did his best. Plus, anything Helen Mirren is in, I'll go watch it.
You mean Dame Helen Mirren?
Dame Helen Mirren. Speaking of, actually, again, bad transitions today. Francis Caesar Awards have listed out their nominees. And of course, the Count of Monte Cristo is leading the way. Beating Hearts is also in the nominees. Emilia Perez again getting a lot of nominees. So are you excited, or are you surprised at least to see that again Emilia Perez is at the top, near the top of the list, but also that the Count of Monte Cristo.
Haven't seen.
Haven't
seen either.
These are the French César Awards.
Didn't know they put out a thing called Beating Hearts. I've not heard of these, but great, good for them.
Good
Congratulations.
For them, indeed. Congratulations, indeed. Netflix has added a much requested feature, which, I mean, if you're a fan of a show like The Night Agent and you might be traveling and you're not going to be able to like watch all episodes, while you're on the road, now you can download the full season on your iOS device. So that's a new feature. They can download not just an episode, but a full season. Is this something that's going to change up how you Netflix and chill?
iPhone taking way too long to implement stuff that's already been on other devices for a long ass time. What a shock.
Yep.
Shocking indeed, but I have an iPhone, so I'm excited for this because I'm gonna download The Night Agent season 2. You know what else I'm excited for? Because now we've got reviews out and they are looking pretty sexy. Because the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man looks to be a hit.
He says.
It's words. So according to IGN, this is a truly fresh take on Spider-Man, filled with many delightful surprises, from fun superhero cameos to shocking plot twists. The inclusion of real-world issues does give it an air of authenticity, although it's essentially window dressing for a fun action show with great
These motherfuckers gave
characters.
Penguin a 5. I never trust IGN with fucking anything. All right, can we not spotlight these dumb fucks? Like your cheers mean nothing. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. Fuck you. Eat a dick. Now I'm kind of worried that this is gonna suck now because IGN gave it a good score.
Cool. By the way, Manus Time saying we should all apologize to John because the show is great. And by the way, I think Ron is talking about The Night Agent, not Spider-Man. Although Ron, I'm sure you'll love Spider-Man as well. But yes, let's apologize to John because
don't apologize to IGN though, because IGN's run by turds.
Dude, I also saw this poster today. With great power comes extra homework. That's certainly a lot better than what they did in Madam Web. Okay. So I'll take that anytime. I like the fact that they're leaning into that that suit, the Steve Ditko suit. Like, is that the Steve Ditko suit, like the OG?
Well, it's not the Steve Ditko suit, but it's just kind of that style a little bit.
Exactly. I like that they're leaning into it because we only got like a little montage in Captain America: Civil War when we first introduced the MCU Spider-Man. But also, guys, it looks like the MCU Spider-Man story is not quite the same as the story of this Spider-Man, because they show you pretty much the same sequence from when we first get introduced to Peter Parker in the MCU, so cool. Except here he doesn't come across Iron Man or Tony Stark. Instead, it's Norman Osborn.
What did they do to Aunt May? She went from MILF to what the fuck is that? Jesus Christ.
That's not nice.
What the hell even is that?
She's lovely too. That's not nice.
That's not what I was paying attention to. I'm just surprised again because this tells me that this is obviously not part of the mainland MCU, right? So This is a slightly different version of Spider-Man. I mean, again, we have another version of Spider-Man that's not, now we have like 4, 5, 6, however many versions of Spider-Man running around in the multiverse. Do you feel like this means that through the multiverse saga, we might get this version of Spider-Man to show up in, Secret Wars or something like that? Or is this just, giving the animators or the team behind the show?
I think they were just having fun. They were just like, look at how cool we are.
Originally, it was supposed to be Spider-Man freshman year. It was supposed to be about, like a prequel to what we saw in Homecoming when he first got his powers. He had his like proto suit, but then they were like, there was too many like mandates and too much like stuff under the sun. They're like, we kind of just want to do our own thing, so they did it. So I kind of like that, and yeah, my buddy said Aunt May looks like she had botched plastic surgery, and I'm inclined to agree.
Y'all are mean.
I think she looks fine, honestly.
She looks like a cross between the old school Aunt May, like the grandma version of Aunt May, and the Marissa Tomei.
But I like how Peter Parker actually looks like Peter Parker. That's pretty good.
Right. Now, speaking of Peter Parker, showrunner Jeff Trammell just said that he thinks, according to him, actor Hudson Thames, who voiced Peter Parker, and he apparently misspoke when he said that he was scared the show was woke and annoying.
Why are we still talking about this? Why are we still talking about this?
That's what I'm saying. Why are we making non-news news? It's so annoying. It's so annoying. And it's not your fault, Dan. It's these people's fault. It's these people's fault. Well, not your fault. Yep.
You know who else misspoke? Benedict Cumberbatch. Oh my god, good segue. Finally, I got one. Thank you.
You got it, Dan. Hilarious.
Thank you. All right. Benedict Cumberbatch did misspeak when he said that he wasn't going to appear in Avengers Doomsday. So he recently clarified his comments to Business Insider, saying, "I was wrong. I am in the next one. Don't ever believe anything I say." Do you believe what he's saying?
Yeah.
I think that was Kevin Feige coming in and reprimanding him. I think he may have.
Oh, probably.
He may have pulled a Tom Holland, but like, actually, I am in it. Shit.
Yeah. I don't care either way. I don't care either way. I will be seeing all of it. And
I mean, I'm not.
He's in it, great. If he's not in it, okay. I'll be seeing all.
By the way, we have Antonio in the chat now. Hello, Antonio. Welcome on in. We're getting to DCU Daily, but we're getting to the quick hits first. Speaking of quick hits, my old ass director Megan Park sets a young adult series at Amazon with Josh Schwartz, Stephanie Savage, Lucky Chap.
I don't know who either of those names are, but I like My Old Ass was a really good movie. So
you actually watched, John? I'm shocked that you watched it.
No, yeah, I watched it. It was really good.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. In terms of coming of age comedies, though, I prefer Snack Shack, but that's just me. But My Old Ass was good. I'm excited for whatever she has in store. I just don't know those other names.
Agreed.
That's fair. Well, I'm excited for it. Let's see when it comes out. This is a news that actually kind of was interesting because we were talking about the César Award nominees earlier. So, if you guys remember this, I think we talked about it on Oh So Curious about a year ago, that France kind of set these very stringent, regulations around how long a movie can play in a movie theater before you can bring it out on streaming. So, it was, I think, like 18 months or something. It was like crazy. It was basically exactly the kind of wet dream that Quentin Tarantino would have. So, and that's a reference to yesterday or 2 days ago when Quentin Tarantino was like, "I'm jaded. We only get movies exclusively in theaters for 4 weeks before they come out on streaming," which he's rightful to be jaded by that. But anyway. Thank you, Casey. Thank you. Now, getting back to the story, Disney Plus just signed a landmark deal in France to invest 25% of its local turnover in French European movies, basically saying about a quarter of the profits they make from any movie in France, like as in, releasing it in France, they're going to reinvest it locally within France. And as a result of that deal, they now have gotten themselves a 9-month window on theatrical films, aka 9 months after the movies come out in theaters, they will be able to put them on Disney Plus, which is again like half of the time that is available to most theaters or most studios by default. Like if you're in France and you see a movie in a movie theater, you won't be able to see it on streaming for like a year and a half. The way it used to be everywhere. But now Disney has cut that time in half because they've agreed to invest a quarter of their French proceeds from all their movies released in France back in French cinema. Now, if you look at by comparison, Netflix currently has a window of 15 months and Apple TV Plus has a window of 17 months. So this is by far the best deal that anybody has gotten. So maybe I just wanted to point this out.
Maybe Blockbuster needs to relaunch in France. Because
maybe. Could be a good business opportunity.
Clean up. Show.
Yep. Well, I thought this was significant. I wanted to bring this up. I don't expect you guys to have really a big opinion on it other than the fact that, look, it's great for movies in movie theater. So, with that said, let's talk about the Super Bowl, shall we? Earlier, you guys were asking about it in the chat. So here we go. Super Bowl ad prices have now topped $8 million as the surge fuels Fox sales. Of course, the Super Bowl this year is on Fox, and they get to sell all the ads and make all the billions of dollars. $8 million a pop? That's crazy. But, I mean, does that surprise you that it's going to cost that much to advertise in between, the commercial break, the timeouts for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Eagles playing at the Super Bowl?
Literally everything about American organized televised sports is a cash grab. So no, this does not surprise me at all. Inflation is out of control and they're going to milk it for all it's worth. It's all about that cold hard cash, baby. So
You know
no,
what I
doesn't
always
surprise me.
wonder? Not only do we get like these big commercials from companies and like, you know, like movie theater trailers and stuff, I wonder how much it costs for one of those local ads. You know, when you get an ad from like your local car dealership, because you still get those like during the Super Bowl sometimes. I'm like, I wonder how much they cost, because that would be interesting to see. Like, are they paying $1 million as well? Like, I wonder. That it's always maybe, you know, somebody.
No,
let us
I
know
think
if
it's
you
like
guys know about
contracted
that.
in with whatever, you know, network and you know what I mean, like local network. I think
Fair
that's
enough.
part of it, but
Yeah. Yep. By the way, Manistime saying Dan is so annoying because streaming services suck in France. For that reason, 9 months is way too long. Look, if,
Yep.
you know, I get it, but look, 9 months is the fastest that you're gonna get a movie that's coming out of a movie theater.
Or
on
you could just
streaming in
fucking
France.
pirate it like a normal person.
We do not encourage pirating. John's opinions are his own. His legal team is reaching out to him and telling him that he cannot say that. With that in mind, let's move on to one of the commercials at this year's Super Bowl. We now know will be Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan recreating that
I'm leaving.
famous Then Harry Met Sally ad at the Super Bowl, and it's gonna have Sydney Sweeney in it. How does that work, John? Are you interested, excited?
My dad showed me the trailer, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. And even though we wanted Sydney Sweeney to be the one pretending to have an orgasm, unfortunately we couldn't get that. But you know, it's still a cute ad.
Cool. Well, you know what? I'm sure we're gonna
And hey,
get
if we
lots
want to
more
see
ads
Sydney
like that
Sweeney
in the coming weeks.
pretending to have an orgasm, we could just watch Euphoria. So
There you go. And on that note, we're gonna move on to another business of
all
Hollywood
right, Liz,
story.
you can fucking come back in.
Amazon's
Thank you.
Amazon's Prime Video inked a Lionsgate streaming deal. So basically, this is what it means. Amazon will now be able to get an exclusive window on movies that will have their first run on Stars. So a little bit of background, Stars and Lionsgate recently re-upped a deal where anytime a Lionsgate movie comes out of a movie theater, the first place it goes on streaming is Stars, and it's exclusive to Stars. Now, basically what Amazon has done here is they've got a deal, you know, with Lionsgate where the second window after Stars is going to be with Amazon, and that's going to be exclusive to them. So, you know, if you happen to see a John Wick movie in a movie theater and now you're wondering where can I stream it, the first place will be Stars, but then after Stars, those movies will end up on Amazon Prime. So, I mean, and also like, I don't know if Lionsgate is distributing a Megalopolis, you know, post-theatrical, but that would be another example of a movie that was a Lionsgate movie that will go to Stars and then go to Amazon Prime after that. I mean, Liz, does this excite you that you might be getting, you know, your John Wick movies on Amazon Prime?
Sure. I have them all on DVD because you know, in case the internet craps out, what are you guys gonna do? Keep DVDs, babes. But sure,
let's
great,
go.
wonderful.
Fair enough. Well, now we move on to the last cricket for the day. Spotify has now won a lawsuit over bundling royalties. Now, I'm going to give you a little more, you know, context for this. Basically, there was a lawsuit filed against Spotify a while ago, and now they've defeated this lawsuit from the Mechanical Licensing Collective, and they were accused of unfairly cutting royalties, and you know,
which they are.
They are.
That's
they are.
proven.
And they were doing it through their audiobooks music bundle, and essentially the lawsuit has now been, you know, ruled in their favor, saying you can do that, and you know the MRC did not really have a case. So I think from a creator standpoint, obviously this is not a good thing because, you know, less money for them. And Spotify, I mean, look, I'm guessing we're gonna see more stories like this in the years to come, at least in the US with the new government in charge. They're gonna be much more business friendly and less, you know, artist friendly in general, and this is just one example of that. So it's unfortunate in my opinion, but hey, you know what, if you're a fan of Spotify, I guess one way you can tell them how you feel is unsubscribe. But you know, I'll leave that up to you because we all do what we do. I actually prefer Apple Music generally speaking, but you know, to each their own.
Still have an MP3 player.
Perfect.
My podcast is available everywhere, so I have no loyalty.
So is ours used to be. We're gonna try to get our podcast back up and running later this year, as well as maybe a Patreon. Ooh, some inside baseball stuff going on.
Maybe we can actually finally get that Discord server off.
Discord, yes. I wonder, you know, wherever Temple went, man. Temple, come back to us. We want to give you that Discord server. We will give you that Discord server. But you know what? That does bring us to the end of the quick hits. So, John, you may turn that music off. And with that, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about the quickest, the news. Are you looking forward to that new Billy Crystal movie? Or not movie, the ad? Are you looking forward to
Stop talking about it. Shut up.
Okay, all right, we're not gonna talk about it. We're not talking about it. Are you gonna watch the Super Bowl? Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about all these stories. But in the meantime, we're gonna move on to DCU Daily. So welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. I'm of course your host, the most, Dan. And then with me today, as always, Liz and John. If you were watching the news and quick hits.
By the way, for all you motherfuckers making fun of me, this is my MP3 player, by the way. I don't use it a ton anymore, but
is that not an iPod? What is that?
I had an iPod, but it had like the battery was like for shit. I still have it, but it's just
what is it? It's so tiny.
It's an oak castle. It was like $20. It was like cheapo kind of thing, but I've just been getting lazy, so I just don't use it as much anymore because I forgot.
Dude, I've TC24 saying John living into 2005, and then Ron also saying John.
Hey, you know what? Guess who's not? Guess who doesn't have to worry about internet connection or ads? Me, bitch. So who's the real winner here?
And nobody's dropping unwanted U2 albums on that thing. So
nope.
Oh my god, don't tell me about it. I will pick that bone dry the rest of my life. I do not want your music, Bono. You can keep your music.
I don't mind it, but I'd like to be able to delete it if I wanted to. That's my only.
Yes, that was the problem. You couldn't get rid of it. And then you just, like, I set it in my playlist to shuffle or like just my entire library, and randomly there's a U2 song. And it was, like Wolves or some shit. Like, I'm like, what the? I do not want to listen to this. And yes, Caleb, we do have some beef. And we, if you want to take it outside, let's take it outside. Fiona saying iTunes sucked though. Well, iTunes was good for its time, and then Casey, if you don't know what an iPod is, just Google it. You'll find it. You'll find the history of the iPod. And I'm sure this still exists. Just go to a Best Buy near you. Go to a Best Buy.
But I remember I saw a funny thing where it was like, I have a separate playlist for literally all of my music except for the U2 album, so you can listen to everything and not have to the U2 album. I'm like, that's actually kind of a genius. Sucks that you have to do that, but
Fiona's a fan of Napster and saying no, it wasn't good for its time. You know what? I will argue that if it wasn't for iTunes, the music industry today wouldn't exist the way it does. And I, for one, did destroy quite a few computers with LimeWire. So it's not like I was always a fanatic of the iTunes music store. But clearly, we are well past that. Ron's dad misses the cassette, so does mine. But whose does not? I actually would prefer to go back to cassettes. Vinyls, there was a certain analog quality to that. So I wouldn't mind going back to tape cassettes. Like, you pop in one, then you copy over, you make your own mixtape before people were burning custom DVDs or
Bill
CDs.
Nye the Science Guy, if Bill Nye the Science Guy is to be believed, the grid's going to be taken out by a solar flare. So you guys are going to have to figure out what to do. You're going to have to go analog. Hey. Bring it back old school, baby. Bring it back old school.
Want to know how old I am, guys? Hang on. I actually have a vinyl record player.
What's hilarious is you're the youngest person on this panel, but yes,
I know, but I have vinyls too.
Yeah, I will grandpa. I don't care what anybody says. This is hands down the greatest rock and roll album of all time. You can quote me on that. Although I also have Houses of the Holy. I have Abbey Road. I think I have the White Album. And maybe one other one. I don't remember which one, but I don't want to get all of them. It's a little cumbersome, but yeah, I got my vinyls. Good stuff. And then I watched a video where there's like only serial killers play vinyl records, so I stopped listening to them because I felt bad. So I haven't listened to them since.
But you're ready for the apocalypse. You're ready for the end of the world, John. So great job.
Yeah. I mean, look at Fallout. Like they listen to old music all the time in that.
I think John's ready for that new Dexter show is what he's ready for. Fiona's like, John is a hipster. Yeah, John is a hipster. Wow, yeah, TC24's little sister has more vinyls than him, and she's like 10 years younger than him. Doesn't make sense. Look, vinyls are probably the most accurate way to listen to a music in terms of reproducing music as it's recorded, vinyl
Yep.
still do a better job than most digital recordings do, despite the fact that technology has come as far as it has.
No, I don't use a French press for my morning coffee because one, I hate coffee, and two,
Me too.
It's even if it would probably be too powerful for me. But my dad uses a French press because he's a coffee snob and a wine snob. He tries to deny it, but we know what he is really into.
Things we're learning. We're learning so much about each other this
So
evening.
much.
Yeah, you're
so
learning
much.
my lore. You're learning my dad lore, and I don't even have a child yet.
Liz, I think Enterprising noticed your hoodie, by the way.
Oh yeah, me too. Hardcore would be great. Why do we have all these Muppet movies but no Fraggle Rock movies other than the Christmas special? When they go to Fozzie's grandma's house, the Fraggle Rock does a little crossover action. Also, that's the best Christmas movie of all time. So just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a funny way of saying Die Hard.
well, it's the second best Christmas movie. There's no Muppets in that.
I think Iron Man 3 is the best Christmas movie anyway.
That could be the
highly
We're here to talk
underrated
about
film.
DC. We're here to
Highly
talk about
underrated
DC. You know, Batman Forever is the best Christmas movie. I was gonna say best Die Hard movie. No, best Christmas movie. Sebastian Stan, by the way, is a fan of Batman Forever and Batman Returns. He did say that in that video clip we're gonna get into a little bit later. But he more specifically said that he's really excited about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, including this quote: "The movie is going to be effing great." And before he said that, he was like, "Look, I'm gonna raise the bar. That movie is going to be fucking great because it has Craig Gillespie directing it, who's an unbelievable director. Of course, John, as you mentioned before we started the show, Sebastian Stan starred in a Craig Gillespie movie, I, Tonya, with Margot Robbie, of course, Harley Quinn, who may or may not be Harley Quinn in the DCU, but Sebastian Stan certainly is a fan of Supergirl. What are your thoughts on this? Were you surprised to hear this? I mean, the video, he kind of starts talking about, like, you know, Batman. First he says I have to go on to the other side, like as in from Marvel to DC. And then he starts talking about his favorite Batman movies he grew up with watching. Batman Returns, I think he said, was his favorite. He loves Batman Forever as well. But then he was like, you know what? Craig Gillespie, he's a GOAT. This movie is going to be great. What are your thoughts on this? Liz, I'll start with you. Were you surprised to see, you know, Sebastian Stan, you know, basically doing his best stand of
At
Craig
the end of the
Gillespie
day,
and Supergirl?
all of these people are fans. All of these people are fans, and they are going to support one another. They're going to raise one another up, regardless of what franchise you're a part of. It doesn't surprise me at all. Sebastian Stan, of anyone, has the most insane. He does the most insane characters. He has the broadest range of characters and subject matters in all of the films that he does and the shows that he participates in. So clearly he's a fan of like every genre. So this doesn't surprise me at all. And he is very good about lifting people up that he thinks deserve some recognition. So he's great about handing out the flowers and you know, just makes me love the guy even more, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And shut up, TC24.
What did TC said?
He said Sebastian Stan is coming to DC. I feel it. Let's just pump the brakes. Okay.
That's what the comments keep saying. Like, just cast him as Batman already.
He did say he wanted to be the Riddler, and I'd love to see that.
That would be hot as shit.
We actually did a whole episode about that.
Amazing, actually. That actually.
That would be
the
fun.
thing is, he'd have to.
He can't be Batman, but he can be the Riddler. That would be badass. Okay, fine. You can have him. Fine.
Batman Returns, Dan.
Two-Face would be even better, Manos. Two-Face would be even better. He's got the hair.
Yeah.
He's got the Tommy Lee hair. That'd be awesome. Anyway, moving along.
John, what do you think about these comments from Sebastian? Are you surprised?
I think that's. I mean, I think that's nice to see. I guess, like, maybe I'm just not as jaded. It's just like, I don't know. Like, it's nice. Like, build each other up, I guess.
That's right.
I just wish we had more of a counterbalance, because I remember somebody like talking about this. When like everybody was like outpouring for like one of the Oscar noms, I forget what it was, but they were like, hey, why can't we just like talk shit about movies? Why can't we have like directors talk shit about other movies? I'm gonna miss that with like David Lynch and shit like that. And I'm like, yeah, we need a counterbalance. Yes, it's okay to like pump each other up, but like at the same time, you need to be like, you know what, this movie fucking kind of blows. Like John Carpenter kind of does that sometimes, where he's like, Oppenheimer was fucking overrated. That movie's trash. So I'm like, I don't agree with it, but like, you know, I kind of like to see, you know, him being like, or people being like, you know what, that movie's fucking garbo. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. We need that good counterbalance. But so that's what I'm saying. But like, I like how he's doing this, but we also need, perfectly balanced as all things should be. Just get that, that Libra like scale, just boop, all that. I don't know if I'm talking sense right now, but
yeah,
Right.
son.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna go on a
What Pop Tart do you have, Dan?
Is it strawberry? It's strawberry. It's definitely strawberry.
Gross, you heathen.
Saw the frosting, knew exactly what it was. Old Dan.
I had a feeling.
I knew John was gonna go on a bit of a rant, so I decided I was gonna have myself a bit of a snack.
No, I wasn't going on a rant. I was just like, I just want, counterbalance. Like, you don't have to suck the dick of every Joe Bob and Honey Pie just to, get in there. It's like
Joe Bob or Honey Pie, not happening.
Who's Joe Bob and who's Honey Pie? They sound like an interesting couple.
Yeah, well, they're not getting their dick sucked. I'll tell you that.
Right. We were having that conversation before the show, but we will not let you into any of that.
We're learning so much tonight about each other.
So much stuff. I have said too much. Ron saying, I can confirm I am not Honey Pie. Thank you, Ron, for the confirmation. And yes, indeed, I was eating strawberry Pop-Tarts.
Anyway.
I was just trying to get Fiona's attention because she loves, strawberry Pop-Tarts. No.
Cookies and cream are the goat Pop-Tart flavor. You can't tell me otherwise.
They're the goat anything flavor. They're the goat.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let's do that, shall we?
Well, we've reached that part of the evening. Oh my.
Just don't unzip your pants, Dan. That's just keep your pants on. That's all we ask.
Let no one unzip their pants, please.
Well, I can't unzip mine because I don't have a zipper on, but I have sweatpants on.
Learning so much about each other.
So good. The strawberry Pop-Tarts in the spot. I was so hungry.
Although,
Gang, I'm telling you right now, you're not getting any smoldering from me. I'm leaving it to these two gentlemen. However, you can get feet pics from me on our Patreon. We look forward to seeing you there later on.
Yeah, it has to be in $1,000 tier.
That's right.
That's the quickest. What type of food takes a little bit longer for you? Anyway, let me not.
Let's calm down, everyone. Let's reel it in.
Let's not go there.
Reel it in.
I wasn't gonna go there, John, but thank you for going there.
We are gonna get demonetized.
Yep, easily.
Tisk.
I will say chocolate chip Pop-Tarts are actually really fucking good though. Like those are definitely one of the best. I don't think
I'll be honest, I don't fuck with Pop-Tarts, so I couldn't give you my opinion.
I did try to get the legendary
I also had chocolate Pop-Tarts.
John, I just got the legendary. They are very rich, very filling, but they're good.
The thing is, I was gonna get them, and then I saw that they were $32 per box, and then I'm like, nope, I'm not.
No, they're not. They're $10 a box for a box of 4. They're $10.
Okay, the only ones I could find were boxes of 8.
Target, babe, Target.
I don't have a Target near me. It's like fucking 3 towns away.
Hey, they deliver. You can order. Go on the intranets.
Maybe.
Anyway, I can confirm they're very, very rich in flavor, very, very filling,
and they're like good. 20 grams of protein per bar.
They're like and like 10 grams of total fat and sugar. So, for a high protein diet gal like myself, they're a great snack. Anyway,
we appreciate that.
Also, not a sponsor, so let's move.
Not sponsored by Legendary.
They might as well at this point, And yes, true story. True story. Just from Fiona there. No. By the way, matcha Pop-Tarts, they do exist, right?
If it's matcha flavored, Fiona has tried it.
Probably. Well, no, actually, I think she's learning for the first time that might be a thing.
If it's matcha flavored, Fiona.
But hey, Angelica loves matcha, and so does Fiona. I mean, you guys got something in common there to discuss. While you discuss that, we have to talk about Fortnite getting a new Superman skin. More specifically, the David Cornsweet Superman skin. They're going to be collaborating, DC Studios and Fortnite, on a new David Superman skin. That's exciting, right? I mean, are you guys Fortnite fans? Sure. Do you play?
Nope.
No.
Cool. All right. Well, if you do play, then now you can play with the. He's got the collar. He's got the collar. When it gets wet. So the David Cornsweet Superman.
Very wet.
Very wet. in Gotham. I still can't see wet.
In case your neck gets a little chilly.
Anyway, in case you get a little chilly on the set of Supergirl, Treyan Milanov will come and hold your hand and then tell you what to do next, because he is the fight coordinator on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And yes, that was a great segue. Do not argue against it.
We
he has
won't
recently
argue.
worked
It's okay, buddy.
on Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, and Rogue One. So he's now the fight coordinator for Supergirl. Are you guys excited? I mean, I like the action. Anytime you get somebody who worked on a Mission Impossible movie, you can't go wrong with that.
But they also worked on Last Jedi, so that's problematic. But
yeah, whatever. You can't be perfect. Everybody has a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
Liz, are you excited for this Rogue One, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation? I mean, he's done a lot of rogue things. Now he's coming to Supergirl.
Okay.
Cool. And Ron's saying he has a good record. He's got a good record.
I mean, he's got a good record, talented. But I've
2 out of 3 ain't bad. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue Nation I liked, so cool.
I think the reason why that Fiona comment is up is because somebody else was commenting about it in a less positive manner. So John is putting the comment up, but we want to support the LGBTQ community here. So if Pop-Tarts are your thing, then
who doesn't love a gay Pop-Tart? Like,
I am gay for Pop-Tarts, man.
I'm gay.
Pop-Tarts should be gay. They should be gay.
I mean, they're already pumped with filling, and that's what that's the
sprinkles.
end result of sex.
Rainbow sprinkles,
specifically.
frosted.
So,
what? Okay, what? Okay. No,
glazing, that works. Like, you glaze a Pop-Tart, you glaze. Hello. So it works. It all works.
It all works.
Okay.
So Match Made in Heaven, please sponsor us, Pop-Tarts.
We're gay for you.
We're gay
Quote
for you.
me on that.
Again, I don't eat them, but I would happily endorse them.
There's no good segue there, so I'm just going to move on to the next story. Rebecca Rienks of True Detective and The Sympathizer of fame, or not necessarily fame, because you probably haven't heard her name before, but she will be the executive in charge of the music for Lanterns. So
cool. She
will be one of the people who will, kind of really define the sound of Lanterns.
So is she like going to be a composer, or is she just like getting like licensing for like popular songs they might be using, or is it both?
I don't think she's a composer. She's just a music executive.
But it's like they're getting everybody from True Detective. Like, get in here.
Yeah.
We couldn't get Matthew McConaughey. Hey, let's get the music chick in here. Let's go.
I mean, look, she's not only worked on that, but she's also, worked on The Gilded Age, which is also another HBO show. She's done also things like The Royals, which I think, lasted a few seasons, and a lot of people liked it. Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So like she's got a very, diverse resume. And again, anytime you can add talent, it's great. Lanterns is getting ready to go into production, so it makes sense that they're, packing in all of this talent behind the scenes. By the way, Enterprising saying I like the brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts. So
those are good, but I had a lot of those and I kind of got sick of them.
I don't care for cinnamon.
DC24 saying the chat is getting out of hand. Yeah.
I will say Eggo Pop-Tarts were surprisingly really good.
Eggo anything is quite good. I do love an Eggo.
Yeah. Chat is the best, and we are family.
Are we just gonna do a food episode one of these days? Because
we should,
like, reviewing food. We'll do a mukbang. We'll like meet up and then we'll just do a mukbang. It'll be great.
Brother never told you never threaten a man's family.
Yeah, the chat is family. Moving on. Me familia. I need to watch a Fast and Furious movie. That's what I'm gonna do after tonight, or at least I'll try. I'll probably just fall asleep trying.
Watch the most recent one. It's the best.
What?
The most recent one is the best.
Are you sure? Have you seen
Alan Richardson and Jason Momoa in the greatest role he's ever been in? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Dan.
Have you seen Fast 5 and Furious 7? I think those are
do they superior. Have Alan and Jason in it? No, they do not.
Okay, all right. Again, you know what? Reasons be reasons. Again. All right. Let's talk about Peacemaker. This is the big stuff that you guys are here for. So let's talk about Peacemaker, shall we? Of course, the new show, or I guess the second season of the show, which might as well be a new show. But, as you can see here on the slate, they are calling it Peacemaker Season 2. But that dove looks off. It's facing up instead of facing down. I am curious, John. Is this a new logo that kind of specifies that this is a different Peacemaker, and it's a very subtle hint? But to me, as if I'm just I'm not an average audience member, so clearly I know the difference. But if I was just an average audience member, I look at this and I look at the logo from the first season, it will to me be more confusing than anything else that all of a sudden the dove is flipped right side up. I mean,
Right.
but do you think this is a reference to the fact that this is a DCU Peacemaker and the other was a DCEU Peacemaker? Even though he said that the first season is canon minus the cameo at the end, why the change? Why does the logo look different?
I think just to differentiate, maybe there is like a character thing going on. Maybe maybe it is just showing like, oh yeah, we're doing, we're fine, we're doing a different thing, even though it's the same character, we're doing a different thing. Whoa, I just saw that comment, and that's a rickety slope. Anyway, but yeah, Peacemaker season 2, I think they're just doing like it's an alternate universe of like, okay, let's kind of go in with small touches here and there. So that's what they're doing. I think that's kind of it.
It could also just be an oopsie. They could have just printed it wrong.
Whoa.
By the way, Fiona, take Tokyo Drift's name out of your fucking mouth, because Tokyo Drift is a great movie.
That's like the Hobbs movie. Like it's an aside. It's an aside. It's not a true.
No, it's a mainline Fast and Furious movie. It takes place between the events of Fast 6 and Fast 7, except it came out like 10 years before.
It's an aside, like Hobbs and whatever his.
Technically not an aside because it's count as the third movie, because when Fast 5 gets to Fast 5. It's called Fast 5, and there were 4 other movies before. If it was a side piece, it would be called Fast 4, but it wasn't.
Okay.
It was Fast 5. So there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no problem with Tokyo Drift, other than the main guy. I think his acting is trash, but
dude,
regardless,
the music is so good. Like, and I love the drifting.
Yeah.
It's
and the
Tokyo
whole
looks
car
like it's
is
the
pretty
future,
sick,
man.
dude. The whole car is pretty sick.
You know what else is sick though? The fact that this slate, the Peacemaker slate, is actually a wrap gift. So you could see in the note there a small token of our appreciation for a job well done, and then it's signed by James, Peter, Lars, and Galen. Lars and Galen, I believe, are the other executives at DC Studios, but of course Peter Safran and James Gunn are the co-CEOs. And it looks like there's something more behind it, unless that's just wrapping. There's a hat there with the Peacemaker logo as well.
Yep,
but Liz, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Do you think that the logo being different is just a subtle hint that this is a different Peacemaker, even though, the first season is canon? But I mean, again, this is that whole situation of how much of the past is still relevant to the here and the now in terms of the first season of the show.
Well, yeah,
because
I mean,
a pretty significant change.
Yeah, the character goes through a lot mentally and emotionally, and kind of decides that he really should give a damn about his fellow man and like maybe do some good things rather than just keep smashing and grabbing. So maybe the upturned dove is a sign of positive change, and looking to the future, and maybe a sign of hope.
That's a good point.
So yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we'll find out when season 2 drops.
Fast and
I
the
think so,
Furious'
too.
timeline is a little convoluted. The James Bond OG timeline, the Evil Dead timeline, and the X-Men timeline say hello.
Hello, exactly. I was like, the Fast and Furious those time, it has nothing on those timelines. Nothing on those timelines. I do like that new DC logo, by the way. I'm thinking about changing our logo to that logo, but I don't know. That's a lot of work. We'll think about it.
I'll try to do it. Maybe I'll try to, do that. Probably not, but I'll try.
Yeah. Please do, and let me know when you do. Yes, there's a lot of good smelling people in the chat, which
I would agree. I would tend to agree.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, not that we know who's in the, how you guys all smell, but anyway.
I smell.
We know Hosea has a very high cleanliness standard, so Hosea's got to smell great. We know that. So.
Caleb,
what do you guys think?
Okay, Caleb, don't get me started on Evil Dead because hello, super fan back here. But so I'm gonna get into some Evil Dead lore a bit. I apologize. We're going into that. But you know what? Caleb brought it up, so now I have to fucking teach his ass a fucking lesson.
Time for a snack break, Dan.
Yes. So what happened is the original Evil Dead, Sam Raimi made one of the greatest horror films of all time. effortlessly. Well, not effortlessly, a lot of effort. And so he wanted to kind of move on from Evil Dead. He wanted to do more slapstick stuff. And he tried to do the movie Crime Wave, and it failed miserably. And so he was desperate. So he's like, okay, I'll make Evil Dead 2. Well, he wanted to include flashbacks to the previous movie and continue on. But the problem with that was the studio was being assholes because they were like, hey, you don't have the rights to that movie. He's like, bro, I fucking made the movie. And they're like, yeah, well, you don't have the rights. So he had to essentially reboot the movie, remake the movie partially, and then make a sequel to that. So that's why he couldn't yes, Evil Dead Rise was great, by the way. So that's why they had to like reshoot stuff and they had to redo stuff, and they couldn't get any of the other actors. All of them were like not available, so they just hired a new Linda, and they had Bruce Campbell, so they just reshot a whole bunch of stuff, and then they had to make their sequel. So, yep, that's why they had to partially reboot it. But Evil Dead 2 is great, and you can suck my dick. So there we go.
Cool. All right. I mostly agree with you except for the last part, but let's move on. Chewing. Okay. Oh, I was meant to use this graphic. Look at that. New wrap gift. All right, we already talked about Peacemaker. Moving on to Superman. The man that is super, the man that stands for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. We now know, according to a Deadline news article, that, hey, we're not going to get a trailer at the Super Bowl, apparently. We're only going to get like a sneak peek at the Puppy Bowl. They will not air a teaser during the Super Bowl. So if you were excited for the Super Bowl, sorry. Do not wait for that Superman trailer because you'll be waiting all night long. What you should be doing is tuning into the Puppy Bowl instead, because that's where James Gunn will be, and that's where you'll get your next look at the Superman footage. Inside look, peek, whatever you want to call it. We don't know if it's going to be a full trailer yet, but most likely it will probably feature Crypto because it's the Puppy Bowl, and Ozu's going to be there with James Gunn, of course. So I'm excited for that. I mean, what do you guys think about this? You guys have been talking about it in the chat this whole time, so we are finally here. We're here in the main event. And sorry, Deadline, we do not want ads, but this was part of the announcement of what trailers we were expecting at the Super Bowl. Of course, the other contenders being Jurassic World, Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible. They're all expected to drop trailers, and each of these studios are going to have to pony up like a good $8 million for just a 30-second ad spot. So it looks like Warner Brothers, being a little, tight on cash because they've got billions of dollars in debt. They've decided to basically skip and not do a full trailer. So are you guys excited, surprised? What are your thoughts on this, Liz? Will you just tune into the Puppy Bowl instead, or are you just going to wait until the, whatever we get does drop online?
You are muted, my dear.
Yeah, I was like, I
just realized. I know. I just knew. Yeah. No, I don't care. I don't care at all because it's not like the Super Bowl is the only place we're ever going to see these things. It would be one thing if it was like Super Bowl exclusive, then yeah. But I'll be watching the Super Bowl, so maybe I'll catch a trailer here or there. Maybe I won't, but they're going to advertise like they always do after the fact. So whatever.
I mean, look, the article does say that they released their big new TV spot during the NFL Championship weekend, right? So it was the AFC and the NFC title games, and that's when we got the Icon TV spot we were talking about the other day. So it makes sense that, with that being less than 2 weeks, ahead of the Super Bowl, that they'll just sit out and instead focus their efforts on the Puppy Bowl instead, which hopefully this means that now more of us fans who want that trailer or whatever footage we do get at the Puppy Bowl, we're going to tune in and watch. And, good for the Animal Planet, good for Superman. John, what are your thoughts on this? Are you surprised that we will not get anything at the Super? Because, most people would have tuned in and be like, all right, we got a Fantastic Four 30-second ad spot. Where's the Superman one? And apparently we now know that Superman will not have. I mean, unless they air the 30-second Icon spot, which I don't think they will because it's not brand new and why spend $8 million doing it. But are you surprised by this news? What are your thoughts on it, John?
I'm surprised because that was the thing I was championing for months, was that we weren't going to get anything in December and we were 100% going to get something for the Super Bowl. I mean, I was half right because we're getting it during a bowl, just not the Super Bowl. We're getting it during the Puppy Bowl. So, that's pretty good. I mean, that still gets a lot of people not even close to Super Bowl numbers, but with how the matchup of the Eagles and the Chiefs have gotten everyone in a tizzy, like it's mochi. Ben Affleck's gonna be Batman. No, anyway. But yeah, I think I think that is a bit of a surprise. I feel like that's kind of a not great move. Obviously, Super Bowl trailers don't mean as much nowadays as they did like years ago when like the putting them on YouTube wasn't as prevalent.
Yeah.
But I think like I mean they're still doing stuff for this franchise. It's during the other thing, which doesn't get nearly enough viewership as much as Super Bowl, but it's still it's still nice. It's still that they're doing something and they're doing on a thing that's like something that's that'll get another demographic in, because they're maybe not going to get the Super Bowl people, but they're going to get people who love dogs, and there are still a lot of people that watch the Puppy Bowl. So
I'm gonna contend that this is a smart move on their part, like TC24 said, and you know what, Ron? Why waste $8 million doing a 30-second ad spot at the Super Bowl if your push is all about the Puppy Bowl anyway that day? And then this article doesn't say anything about not releasing a trailer that day. All it says is we're not going to get an actual 30-second ad spot from Warner Brothers during the Super Bowl. It doesn't say anything about, they can still very much drop a full trailer online the same day. Like, we could still get that. So I'm willing to bet that's what happens. We might get a full trailer, a new inside peek or whatever it is. We're just going to get it online. And then, whatever they put out, during the Puppy Bowl, if you're watching the Puppy Bowl, you'll get it there. But then you can go on YouTube and watch the whole thing online after the fact. And people will still go and do it because a lot of people are, watching the Super Bowl just to watch the commercial, then watch the trailer. So this will be one of the trailers that will be out. I'm willing to bet that will be the case. So yeah, I mean, I don't think we should look at this and all of a sudden be like, no, there's no way that we're going to get anything from Superman that day. Of course, we're going to get a sneak peek at the Puppy Bowl. I'm willing to bet that leads into another trailer. It's just going to be, online, and Warner Brothers, making a smart business decision, saving themselves a few $1 million and not putting it out, during the Super Bowl broadcast itself, which is fair. I get it. Like Enterprising saying Man of Steel's trailer came out during the NBA playoffs. So did the BVS trailer, Batman versus Superman. Yeah. I mean, look, you could still advertise at other big events. Obviously, that Superman ad spot that dropped during the NFC AFC title games, and we're still talking about it, right? So like they know they've got the momentum. Why spend $8 million? So I understand the decision-making process. But we have got a couple of good questions from you guys in the chat. So let's get into those real quick, especially regarding, the movie Superman itself. And of course, the marketing push for it as well. The first question is from Angelica. And you were asking, what do you think about the ticket sales for the Superman film? Or what month do you think we'll get the tickets going on sale for the Superman film? I'm going to say that we will probably get those ticket sales at no sooner than April, but more likely in May, which would place it at least 2 to 3 months in advance of the movie coming out. I think that's pretty common.
I would
sometimes
say
it would be even.
I was almost going to say March. That it's like, because
no, it'll be the end of April.
Yeah, like a lot of times it's a lot closer than that, right? Like, because the Captain America movie tickets went on sale, like Captain America: Brave New World. The tickets went on sale like a week and a half ago.
Yeah,
right?
I got my tickets for that 2 weeks ago. That's when because that's when they also released, like, this is going to be the popcorn bucket. This is going to be the special thing you get opening night. So it'll be the end of April, definitely wide open in May. But I would say end of April for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we'll probably, I'm thinking even like late April might be a little too soon. Like you might be looking at like, late May, early June potentially. So yeah, it's possible. By the way, we have more Katna joining us in the chat. Hello, more Katna. Superman hype, let's go. Yes, we are all excited for the movie. Of course we are. Manos Time. Yeah, apparently Armor Wars is in trouble of being canceled. We will get into that in a lot more detail on Friday when we do a full MCU weekly episode alongside DCU Daily. So do tune in because Liz will be back and we'll be talking about Armor Wars. We'll be talking about other MCU, headlines, including reviewing the first 2 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So, yeah, but like you said, enterprising, as you suspect, the Superman marketing will probably hit hard by May or June. And that's when we'll start getting more and more TV spots. We'll probably get another trailer before the movie comes out, or we'll start seeing the actors on tour talking about the movie, going on late night shows, appearing at different red carpets. That's all going to start happening May, June into July. Now, with that said, the other question that we have is from Manos Time, and he was asking what will happen during the Comic-Con since they won't screen the movie and the trailer is going to be out. I'm curious. So we were talking about how Superman might get a full screening at CinemaCon in April, which is obviously not for everybody. That's only for owners of theaters and theatrical distribution companies, essentially like AMC, Regal, other mom and pop movie theaters. So not everybody gets to go there. But at Comic-Con, I think it's going to be a big DC panel, and it's going to probably feature the cast of Superman answering questions. They might give you like a scene, a special look, a behind the scenes featurette. But it's going to happen so close to when the movie comes out. At that point, if the hype isn't there, they're already in trouble. So I don't think
at the most they're going to give you a
screening.
10-minute clip at the most. They're definitely not going to screen the film because fans will be furious if that happens, because all of the panels are based on Lotto. So the folks that missed out will riot, especially because there are a number of other Comic-Cons that follow throughout the rest of the year. They'll be pissed off that they missed the exclusive as well. So it'll probably be a 10-minute snippet of the film. Certainly they're probably going to show the teaser trailers. They're going to show you pretty much everything that they've already released, just to kind of keep everybody's palate nice and moist. But it'll be a DC panel, and they'll have lots of other things to promote too that are going to come out after the fact. So they'll definitely
Lantern,
still have
Supergirl.
to talk about.
Like we will probably be talking about how we might get our first look at Supergirl by then, right? Because they would have been filming that movie for like a good 4 months by that time.
So. I have a feeling if anything, they'll drop a trailer for Supergirl at Comic-Con.
In fact, I'm willing to bet by the time Comic-Con happens, and we're talking San Diego Comic-Con, right?
Correct.
Like the big SDCC. When that happens in July, I bet you Supergirl might be wrapping production by then. So we might get the
You'll
director,
get a teaser for sure.
some of the cast. And maybe like an early behind the scenes featurette, if not a teaser. By the way, it's Mochi. Teaser trailers nowadays are almost treated like they're the first trailer for the movie. So having something that's like 2-3 minutes long is more common than it used to be, when you would get like a 60-second sneak peek. And the reason for that is, the first full story trailer might not come out for months after that, right? Because they release it in December. That's a good 6.5 months before the movie comes out. We might not get the next trailer until at least the Super Bowl or Puppy Bowl, and if you don't get it then we might not be getting it until like March or something, right? Like maybe the NBA All-Star Weekend potentially, or like you guys said, the NBA playoffs. So the teaser trailer has to do a lot more heavy lifting, so that's why they make it longer than just a minute. It's not just a little teaser; it's a trailer in its own right. But another question here from Ismochi John. I don't know. Will you be dressing or cosplaying like Superman as Superman?
I'm just gonna be wearing a shirt. That's it. Just a shirt. That's it. Not doing anything else.
The only movie I'm ever gonna cosplay for is probably Top Gun, and I don't know when we're getting another sequel for that.
Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out, but that was.
I've got all the props, right? Like a wizard. What did you dress up as?
Yeah, I dressed up as Harry Potter.
Cute.
Oh, I thought you said ew. I'm like, what?
No, cute. That's so cute, John.
I got into like the local newspaper too.
John, I thoroughly support it.
I don't know where my dad put the clipping. He had it on the fridge for the longest time, and I don't know where he put that, but good times. But Manos also had another question for me that I really wanted to touch upon. What about Ash vs. Evil Dead? Fucking amazing, goated. 3 amazing seasons. I'm still pissed it got canceled. Fuck you, stars. Anyway. But yeah, Ash vs. Evil Dead. The only bad Evil Dead project is the remake, and that's it. Everything else is goated. I will say the Evil Dead is the best horror franchise because it has the most great entries out of all of them. So, yeah.
I mean, Ron saying that when No Way Home came out, he saw a lot more people wearing Spider-Man masks.
Which is interesting because they don't allow masks anymore at theaters. So
Yeah.
yeah. But we don't have that problem with Superman. So
Or actually, I think I misread the comment. He said that he wore his Spider-Man mask in the movie theater watching No Way Home. I mean, Superman doesn't wear a mask, so I don't know how that would apply here. It's not really, but like, but fair enough. I mean, you know, unless the mask you're wearing is like, you know, like a COVID or like, you know, one of those medical masks, you know, to protect yourself from getting sick, then, or maybe from other people getting sick. Unless that happens, I don't think you're gonna walk into a movie theater wearing a mask just so you can like pretend to look like
it's
David
not allowed
Cornstalk.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
I think they also decided to do that after the whole Minions thing, when everybody decided to show up like dressed in those suits and stuff, and then they were just like, what was it? There were a raucous crowd. The whole idea was, okay, it's cool that you're dressing up, but do not, you know, make other people's time at the movies terrible, which is
don't ruin it for the kids that are there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The best Superman coming July 11, 2025. The real Superman, says Roger. Well, I don't know if it's the real Superman, but it is,
because he doesn't really exist.
Our current
you know,
Superman.
Nice.
Cross-eyed or not, I mean, it's just, to me, we were talking about it before the show. I'm like, like you said, Liz, it looks like he's got a lazy eye, and it's like literally for half a second.
Might. We don't know the guy personally. He might.
Who gives a fuck? Like, we're still like, Liz, what have you been saying this whole fucking time? We're making a mountain out of a fucking molehill.
Get a life, people. Get a life.
Get a fucking. I'm just so fucking sick. Like, god damn. Like, who gives like? Literally 28 seconds of this trailer, nobody fucking complained about a goddamn thing. But yet the fucking 2 seconds where his eye is allegedly wonky, allegedly, because I don't fucking see it. And people,
it's a little lazy eye-ish, yeah. There's a little lazy eye.
But it's like if you have like fucking blowing wind in your face and you're fucking you're on like a fucking thing going through the things, and it's like, yeah, of course my fucking eyes are gonna fuck up.
No, it's because Superman has to be perfect, John. He has to be perfect in all things. Everybody knows this.
Perfect timing.
Perfect, because he's perfect. Everybody knows he's gonna be perfect.
Well,
I bet you he smells great though. He smells great, guys.
Well, and he is 6'3", so and he's tall.
He's tall enough and he smells great. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yes, man, I absolutely do. I think it's going to be super wildly, insanely successful. Especially if they do release some fun tidbits at Comic-Con. Comic-Con's definitely going to help get more people to the theater. Yeah. It's gonna do very, very well. It's gonna do super, super well, and I'm very excited for them, and I can't wait to see it.
I've got an idea. Let's finish off the show on a friendly dollar bet. How about that? Let's see between the three of us. Let's come up with a number of what we think as of right now, a way too early estimate at what Superman is gonna make at the box office.
No, I'm not good at this. I don't know numbers.
Just a friendly wager. How about that? Just for one lowly buck. Let's talk about
the classic Coming to America bet. $1.
How about is it gonna make more than
Trading Places?
Well, I can do more like a range. Like I said, it's gonna make more than Captain America. I believe truly it'll make more than Captain America. Will it make more than Thunderbolts? I don't know.
But Liz, we don't know what those movies are gonna make. You gotta be more specific. Like you gotta be like Mochi, 745 million. See,
I can't do that. I have
given us an exact number.
I don't look at the numbers every day like you, Dan. So I couldn't tell you what this movie made or that movie made. Or this.
All right.
I don't give a shit. I don't know those things. So y'all go ahead and make your wager. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy. Go ahead.
Okay, John, what do you think?
Okay.
Think of it like Price is Right.
You want my wish fulfillment answer? Or do you want my realistic answer?
But also, are we talking domestic? Are we talking worldwide? Are we talking?
We're talking worldwide.
What are
we talking? Worldwide. We're talking just the overall number.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. 305 from Miami.
I mean, I'm hoping that it makes a bill. I hope it makes a bill. That would be amazing.
I think my wish fulfillment is definitely $1 billion, but I'm gonna try and be realistic about this. I'm gonna say 768. Very specific. Just say $768 million.
All right, I'm gonna say 772. There you are. Dan, I hope you're writing this down.
I am. You said 772?
That's correct.
772, and why am I saying that all weird? John said 768.
Just $4 million off.
What?
Dan's gonna say 773.
I don't know. Angelica thinks it's gonna make 900 million if Warner Brothers push it on a 60-day.
Why don't we write all these down? Let's write
all these.
Let's write everybody's down. We'll send you a buck.
Let's see.
Let's keep those receipts. Let's keep those receipts.
Those goddamn
That's
receipts.
your job, Dan.
Fiona thinks it's gonna make $2. I highly doubt that she's gonna get that one right. All right, let's get this down, shall we? Hugo Millie said 800. It was a revised estimate. Initially, Hugo Millie said 785. Let's see. Ismochi said 745. All right, okay. Then we're getting into Caleb is giving us a range 750 to 800. He's revised it. He picked a number 689. 689. Antonio saying 600. Actually, no. Now he's saying now if it gets a great critic score, an audience score 700. Okay, 700. So we're going up.
I'm writing.
Of course,
it down
Angelica
too,
said 900.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the biggest number so far. And then Roger saying 700 million. So he said 700. Enterprising giving us 780. 780 going 780 once, going 780 twice.
You'll be liking these as much as you're contributing. We still need some likes in the chat, friends.
Yes.
Okay, James M is saying 700. Manos is saying 770.
770.
Fiona's unhelpful.
6969 is not a real number.
I mean, it is a real number, but
not in this context. We have James in the chat. Hello, James. And your number is.
I agree, Angelica.
700.
I completely agree. I'm hoping that it makes a bill. I'm hoping that it drops a bill.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate fantasy.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yep. But is that your final number, or are you sticking to 900, Angelica? Where you got to give us a number now. We're literally taking notes here.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold you to this. Fiona's last relevant number was 666. So I guess that's what we noted down as. I say 666.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
All right. Thronkill. Hello, Thronkill. Welcome on back. And he's saying he will make us hopeful again. Superman, that is. Thronkill, what do you think? How much money will Superman make at the box office? We're noting down everybody's predictions so that we can then in a few months time.
This is great. This is fun. I like this.
Yeah, this is fun. We're gonna keep the receipts. All right, okay. So Angelica saying 900 for me. I'm pretty sure. Mark my words. All right, cool. 900 then. So we're gonna stick to 900. That's the highest number anybody has committed so far.
I'm gonna say 901.
Are you revising your answer?
No, I'm gonna stick to 772. I'm gonna be conservative.
But look, Manos Time was asking a good question. Like, does the hate scare you? Look, honestly, most people talking shit about this movie are the loud minority who want this thing to suck.
Anyway, no.
And they're not going to make a difference here. This movie is going to do well if the average audience is going to like it, right? Like, the most people who go to the movie theater are not going to care what, a Snyder bro on the internet is saying. They just want to see a good movie, and as long as this is a good movie, and it kicks off, a new cinematic universe as it's meant to, people are going to like it. And that's really what's going to matter at the end. So we're not too worried about, like, are people going to hate it? Are they going to, does it worry us? No, because, so far the trailers have been great. The overall reactions are amazing. So unless that changes, unless the next trailer sucks and all of a sudden, David Cornsweet, it comes out that he's some child molester or something like that. Unless that happens, this movie is going to be fine.
Holy hell. So I just looked up. So the combined 7 Superman films have made a combined $2.41 billion. So that's an average of 344 million. Yes.
Yeah, but then older films, the superhero films, like you have inflation to worry about. You have like superhero movies way back when didn't make quite as. I mean, movies in general didn't make billions of dollars at the box office. So
Yeah. Oh, I mean, let's remember this movie is bright. It's got really poppy colors.
So the first Superman, the Christopher Reeves first Superman the movie made $1 billion. made $1 billion.
Wait, no, what? No, unless that's inflation adjusted.
Worldwide box office, Superman the movie made $1 billion.
No,
I'm looking at the numbers, bro.
Are
Superman Returns made $461 million. This is
no.
worldwide.
I think you're looking at inflation adjusted numbers. If you look at just the dollar values from the time that it came out,
the movie made
yes, it is adjusted
million.
for inflation. It is adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate because you have to account for a lot of other things that is not just the
you
dollar
guys
value.
are no fun right now. I'm just trying
saying
to give you the facts. Just out
it
here.
made 134 million according to Box Office Mojo. That's
Superman Quest for Peace made 32 million.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. And actually the non-adjusted for inflation number is 30. Yeah, it's 30 million. Well, no, you're right. 30 million. 15 million was the domestic number. Man of Steel, the last solo Superman movie. Well, it's confusing because you're missing a whole chunk of things, but the worldwide box office for Man of Steel, which was the last Superman solo movie, was 670 million. So that's it's got to make at least that. Otherwise, people are going to immediately say, "Oh my God, it made less money. It's not as good." So hopefully, it avoids that. Superman Returns, the previous solo,
Aquaman can make
391 million.
money, you guys. I'm just saying.
Right, I got all the predictions right here.
And as Enterprise keeps saying, the marketing will be key.
The lowest end we have,
and Ron, stay psyched
Ron's lower end, which is 500 million.
Oh, by the way,
he didn't give a specific number, and then the most was Angelica with 900 million.
But Thrawn Kill gave us Thrawn Kill. You gotta give us an exact number. You said 800 to 1 billion. What was your
Ron
exact
didn't give
number?
us an exact number either, though.
And Ron, yes, please do, because you're hoping that you're wrong and being scared of all the hate. And we encourage you to stay psyched for the movie because I think the trailers are doing the job, and so far the marketing has been on point. Antonio saying, Dan, let's just hope he's a weed head. I don't ever want to assume somebody's a child predator. There's too much ugliness in this world, and I would never want to be, and that to be an assumption on anybody. I know I was exaggerating for effect. I am not suggesting that David Cornsweet is anybody other than just a good, humble dude who's signed up for the role of a lifetime. I'm not saying that at all. I was just exaggerating for effect. John does it all the time. Like, why are you guys pointing fingers at me? I'm like, oh, I got dark.
I can get away with it.
Oh, it's getting
apparently you can get away with it. It's great. But look, Ismochi has a good point. People on the internet are allowed 0.7%. I don't know if that percentage is accurate, but it's a lot closer to the to the real number than anything I would have come up with. But yes, they're a very small percentage of the audience, so don't worry about it. Like Mochi said, I think for all the people on the internet who are saying this movie sucks, look at the evidence. The trailer looks great.
Again, half of those people aren't going to see it, and the other half are going to see it like 2 weeks after it comes out. Like whether it's begrudgingly, whether it's to hate watch, whatever.
Yeah.
They're still gonna spend their hard-earned dollars to hate watch a movie so they can be trolls on the internet. And you know what? Great. We're welcome for your cash. Thank you so much. It's it's people are gonna be how they are. But,
exactly.
Oh well.
We did get an exact number from Antonio Baker, and then we also now have 500 million from Ron. So he's going for an even 500.
There you are.
Antonio then saying, at the end of the day, I just hope the movie is loved by the audience and the critics. If it is 600 or 500 million, it's just loved by the audience. So then we get more of them. Yeah. I mean, look, if it makes over $500 million, it's going to do that because the audience has loved it. And I bet you if the audience has loved it, chances are that the critics love it too. So yeah, I think that would be a success. Warner Brothers will look at anything at around 500 or over 500 million as a runaway success. And I agree with that. Angelica calling for at least 145 or potentially 125, somewhere in that range, for the opening weekend. 125 to 145. Do you guys think that's a realistic number? I mean, if it is going to get to like 700, then you got to start that high at least.
I would say 150 is probably a good 100 to 150 is probably a good base for that opening weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Ron saying more than making a lot of money, Superman needs to be a good movie to make people interested in the DCU. And that
but then you also have DC to worry about. This is like the type of fucking shit they're like, that if it doesn't make like $2 trillion, it's a failure in their eyes. So
Yeah.
you also have to kind of worry about them a little bit.
No, I don't think David Zaslav is under any, false assumptions that this movie needs to make $1 billion or something like that. I don't think James Gunn, I don't think Peter Safran, anybody at Warner Brothers or DC Studios thinks this movie or has those kind of lofty expectations, because honestly, Warner Brothers of the past is not the Warner Brothers that we have today. Warner Brothers Discovery knows what they have, in their hands, and that's a DC that's damaged, that's been affected by the missteps of the last 10 or so years, that needs to rebuild its trust with the audiences. And therefore, if this Superman movie makes even as low as $300 to $400 million, like you were saying in the chat, guys, as long as the people love it, like you said, Ron, as long as it's a good movie and it brings in the audiences, whether it's an opening weekend or the second weekend, like you said, Liz, that's what's going to matter at the end of the day. The critics' reviews are going to matter. The audience ratings are going to matter. Like, it needs to have a high cinema score.
And you're going to have fans that are going to see it multiple times as well. So, you can't count them out either. They're going to level the playing field.
Exactly. And Ron is also right about the fact that I think The Batman Part 2, they probably will expect that to be closer to $1 billion, considering the first one made almost $800 million. Then they will expect for the Superman movie to make $1 billion. And that's a completely fair assumption. The Batman has always been a much more profitable character, a much more bankable character at the box office. So that's completely understandable. Manus Time saying, I wish Superman is so successful we can see more Justice League members. We are. I mean, we're going to get a Green Lantern in the movie. We're going to get Mr. Terrific. We're going to get Hawkgirl. We're going to get more Justice Leaguers coming soon. And then Enterprising saying, I truly believe it needs to do at least better than Man of Steel. I agree with you. Like I keep saying, if this movie doesn't make that, because like Man of Steel made $670 million in 2013. That's 12 years ago. Basically, almost to the day by the time this movie comes out. So if 12 years later, a new Superman does not make at least the same amount as the old Man of Steel movie did, I'm not saying that's a fair comparison, but it is a comparison to be made because that was the last time we got a solo Superman movie. So people will look at that as a negative. Warner Brothers will look at that and say, what did we do wrong? I mean, I'm not saying all of a sudden they're going to blow up their plans like they did in the past, because James Gunn, I think, has a plan. It's in action. Basically, the next 3 or 4 things after Superman are already in production or going into production or will be in production by the time the movie comes out. So I don't think they're going to, flip the tables and start all over, but they will probably see like, okay, what happened? Was the audience reception bad? And as far as the opening weekend goes, here's where I'm at. I think it's too early to predict how big of an opening weekend it's going to be, because for a movie like this, it's got the headwinds of like people not trusting DC just yet because of everything that's happened over the last few years.
And again, it's also going to be bookended by other blockbusters as well.
Exactly, because the week before Jurassic World comes out, and 2 weeks later Fantastic Four comes out. So it's going to be a competitive, window in the middle of the summer months. So as long as this movie, has a good audience rating and people love it, the critics love it, even if the opening weekend isn't very high, ultimately, we're talking about final box office numbers. That's what we've been noting down. Those numbers could still be pretty high, because remember, the Joker movie debuted, the first Joker debuted to less than 100 million. It was like 96 million, and it went on to make $1 billion because it caught on like wildfire. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but like literally that movie like ran away with, the amount of money that it made based on it, like 10x its opening weekend number. That's crazy. It's so rare to see that. And with Avatar movies, both Avatar movies, both of them are $2 billion+ movies. The first Avatar movie has now made almost $3 billion. Both of them debuted to less than $100 million at the opening weekend box office. Even the Aquaman movie that made the last DC movie to make $1 billion, I think debuted to like 70 million or something like that at the opening weekend. So it's very possible that if Superman makes like 60 to 75 or 80 million at the opening weekend box office, that it can still get to like, 700, 800 million, or whichever number you guys, are predicting. So I don't think the opening weekend will be, where this movie will, succeed or fail. It's going to really matter how good the film is, because the opening weekend could be a little bit lower than people expect. It just, but if the movie's terrible, then it's going to fall flat. But if it's great, then people will come back and they'll bring their friends and their family. They'll tell everyone about it. And that's what we want. That's all we want at the end of the day. I mean, by the way, I haven't given my number on this. So, and one last note, by the way, if the Superman movie is great, it's going to mean so much more for Supergirl. Because, like, all that positive, vibes, all those positive vibes are going to then go into hopefully helping Supergirl have an even bigger box office number. So, that's really, again, what matters. If Superman makes 500 million, then maybe Supergirl will make it 500 to 600 million. Like it will increase the expectations for everything that comes after if this movie is great. With that said, guys,
what's your number, though, Dan?
What's your prediction? Number? I think this movie will make 825 million at the box office worldwide. That's my prediction. Which would be higher than the Batman, and it would certainly be higher than Man of Steel. It would actually be, pretty close to what, Batman versus Superman made, which was like 893 million or something like that. So, yeah. I think 825 is a good number. Man of Steel is a surprise. I think it's got the potential. So far, the marketing is there. It's doing well across the board. I mean, the only thing that was controversial was a quarter second of his face looking a little wonky. Everything else has been fantastic. The Puppy Bowl will be great. James Gunn is continuing to spend all of his time day and night answering fan questions. All of that marketing is going to pay off, hopefully. Thronkill saying apparently Lex's ship is green and purple, so are his soldiers in the first trailer. Yep. Cool. Which might explain the whole glowing ball of fire in the sky. Might also be Lex Luthor related, so I guess we'll see. Enterprising making a good point. If Jurassic World sucks, that could help Superman, and if the social media embargo drops early, that will definitely help Supes. I think the social media embargo is going to drop early because Warner Brothers and DC know what they have in this movie. And so they know that when they bring this movie out, they're going to want the reviews to be out weeks before it comes out. Because, people want to know what the critics think. And I think if the embargo drops like a good 2 weeks before the movie comes out, then you can get ahead of it. Like they'll probably do an early fan screening as well. So you'll get reviews from those. They'll have a social media embargo that's going to lift even before the main review embargo lifts. It's going to be the summer of Superman, and we're going to get everything. They're going to do all the things to make sure this movie is successful. And with that in mind, I think we have reached the end of today's show because, I don't think we can break down or analyze the news any further than that, at least as of right now. We've got all our predictions. They're noted down in our private chat here, and we've also got them noted down on John's pad, which is of course the ultimate source of information. So we will go back to that in a few months when the time comes to collect the receipts. I wonder how many dollars we're going to be collecting of all the people who are going to get the wrong number. Who knows? Maybe it will do 69 at the box office, like Fiona said. So, or $1 billion, maybe 900 million. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, dude, Manos Time saying the war broke out over this movie on Twitter. Look, a war on Twitter isn't a war in real life. It's a war between people who are mostly just relegated to Twitter. But in if you are watching us on X or Twitter, we're not coming for you. We're just saying, if people on Twitter are hating this movie, that's not what's going to define the the general consensus on the film. It's going to be the people who go and see it in the movie theater, not the ones who only talk about it on the internet. And with that, I think we're going to call it a day, shall we? I'm tired. The bag's pretty bad right now. I still have a Pop-Tart to finish eating. John's rant got me through 1.5 Pop-Tarts. I'll finish the last half after the show. But Liz, where can they find you on the internet?
Anywhere you listen to podcasts, the Try Not to Curse podcast. We are available everywhere. Please download, please like, please comment, please subscribe. If you have an interesting job or something you want to get off your chest and you want to maybe bounce off somebody else, I'm here for y'all. I'd love to have you on the pod. Please let me know. We are a love all, serve all. We welcome everyone. So it would be great to talk with all of you. Wonderfully, Dan and John have both joined me on the pod. So if you guys want to check out those episodes, please do so. I'm sure I'll have them back again as well. But hey, gang, have a great night.
Absolutely. And long live the Bulge, forever Bulge, as it says back there on your poster. John, where can the world and where can the good people find you?
The Cool Kids movie reviews or the Cool Kids reviews. I forget what specific it was. And then the Geek Informant. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm working on a new video. Hopefully it'll be out by Friday. It's Justice League related, so that should be fun.
Ooh. And you know what? Tomorrow we are fan casting Alfred Pennyworth for the DCU. So be sure to stop by for that. And Manos Time is already subscribed to your podcast, Liz, on Apple Podcasts.
Appreciate you.
That's awesome. Well, hope you guys, take care and go out and watch something DC related. Then come back and talk to us about it tomorrow, because we'll be back. We'll be talking about Alfred and a bunch of other things. I'm sure the latest from the world of Hollywood and all. And then we'll be here on Friday. Liz and John will be talking about the latest from the world of DC and Marvel. We're gonna have MCU Weekly times DCU Daily. So stick around. We're here 5 days a week with DCU Daily. We do Also Curious. We might actually do a couple of movie reviews on Friday as well. So looking forward to that. So until then, forever Bulge. Yeah, and Supergirl is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna enjoy my.
It's gonna be fucking great.
And Superman looks, really, really amazing so far. That new Peacemaker logo is blowing my mind. We'll see you next time on another episode of DCU Daily.